Hey, what's up guys? Welcome back to the channel. Today I just want to kind of make a video and talk about how I ended up going from a Tag Heuer to a stainless steel Sky-Dweller as my first Rolex. Kind of go over my thought process and kind of the decisions I made along the way to get to my watch. So wanted to show you real quick again the Sky-Dweller. This is what I ended up on. As you can see here, stainless steel, the white dial, which is ultimately a week into it, it's something I love. So wanted to go over the thought process. So I started this journey probably 2 or 3 months ago. I decided I think I want a Rolex, and in looking on Instagram and looking at different pages and stuff, I think a Daytona was kind of the one that I thought I could really see myself wearing. Again, just on Instagram, never going on Rolex.com and building one out or anything like that. I thought that this was probably in May and June that the Daytona, the retail price for that was around 14 or 15. I know now that that's the secondhand price. So that was kind of what I thought I was going to get. Looked at a lot of the YouTube videos, and then finally went into my first authorized distributor to find a few things. Number one, I'm not going to get a Daytona. It's about a 5-year waiting list. And number two, they're not about 14 or 15. They're actually about they're actually, the stainless steel version is about 12,400. So realized that the Daytona, if I wanted to go the authorized distributor route, was not going to be my first Daytona if I wanted to get a new one. What I found out in talking to 3 or 4 different ADs in the area was that I could probably get myself a Submariner. GMT might also be a possibility. It was probably a little bit harder to get, but in order to get one, I've got to be a customer already. So what I finally decided, in order to increase my chances of purchasing a watch, was I said, okay, well, my budget for something like this was around 14 or 15. I'll stretch that a little bit, and I'll say, okay, to one of these 4 authorized distributors, if you can get me this Submariner, or if you can get me this GMT, I'll go ahead and buy a second watch at the same time. This was a couple months ago, before the Datejust was on one of those lists that you've got to wait for. You could just go in and purchase a Datejust or order one. Now it's not that case anymore. You can't do that anymore. So I decided on the 41 millimeter stainless steel Datejust with the Wimbledon dial and the fluted bezel. So I thought that was a really nice watch. It would be more formal, whereas a GMT or a Submariner would be more of a sports watch, more casual. So I would have 2, and the price point was, again, I would stretch my price point a little bit higher, and 2 brand new watches from the AD, full 5-year warranty. I thought that was the way I wanted to go. I went along with that for a little while. Even got to the point where an AD called me and said, hey, are you still looking for a Submariner? At the time, the first call I got was a no date, and I thought that, I think I want one with a date. I look at my watch all the time. I don't use my phone. I think I want one with a date. That kind of made it real for me. I looked at it and I was like, you know what? I don't think I will love a Submariner, right? I certainly don't think I'll love a black watch. And at this point, I've got to mention that I'm coming from a watch that I've had since 2006. It's this Tag. It's the Tag Professional. It looks like an aqua racer. I've had it since 2006. It's a white dial, which I love. So I say that only to say that my mindset was, any Rolex would have been a pretty cool upgrade. But the reality is, if I'm spending, $16,000, $17,000, $18,000 plus tax, I don't want to get 1 or 2 watches that I don't love. So it was at this point where I realized, you know what, I don't know if I can go the authorized distributor route and get a watch that I love. And so that's when I looked at, okay, you know what, I'm going to go and look at the gray market. So once I opened myself up to the gray market, I was like, okay, maybe I go back to a Daytona. The current Daytonas are 25,000, unfortunately, which is it is double the asking price at the authorized distributor. I realized, you know what, I'm not going to spend 25 grand. I'll look at the previous one, the one that I kind of fell in love with initially when I first started this whole Rolex process, was the one with the stainless steel, the white dial. I'll put a picture of it in the video for your reference. That's kind of the one I liked. Another one that I was looking at was the Sky-Dweller, also because it's got the white dial. This one was really cool. It wasn't even on my radar. It's the most complicated movement. You know, I'll mention most of that in my first video that I talked about. And then the last one that I was on the fence about was the Yachtmaster 2, stainless steel Yachtmaster 2. Second-hand market, it was actually lower than the first-hand market, so which is the only stainless steel Rolex watch which is like that. Interesting enough, I thought it looked fantastic. I didn't end up going with that one, even though it would have been less expensive than my Sky-Dweller, because it was a little big. It was a 44 millimeter watch, and it was pretty thick as well. And at the end of the day, I think the Sky-Dweller just looks better as well. So it came down to those three watches. I scratched off the Yachtmaster 2 because it was a little big, even though it was less expensive. So it came down to kind of the 2008 Daytona or the Sky-Dweller. Well, the 2008 Daytona, I thought, while it looked great, while I think it actually will appreciate pretty significantly in value, it was kind of a little plain for me. And to get one with box and papers, it actually would have been more than what I ended up paying for the Sky-Dweller. So was on eBay. I looked, just spent a lot of time on eBay actually. Saw this watch that came through, contacted the seller, felt great about what they were telling me, looked at the reviews online, very positive reviews, looked on Rolex forums, some people that had dealt with this specific shop up in New York, and went ahead and pulled the trigger. So fast forward 2 or 3 months from my initial journey, ended up with something that I'm extremely happy with. It's been less than a week, and yeah, I love it. And so I'll probably make another video at a later time about kind of first couple week impressions. So that's kind of how I ended up from a Tag to a Sky-Dweller. Guys, if you like this video, please like and subscribe. Again, I've got more videos coming on what initial thoughts and second thoughts about the Sky-Dweller. If you guys want to hear about my finances and how I could afford something like that, I'd love to make a video on that. Eventually I'll probably get a rubber B strap. So again, like and subscribe, and stay in touch. Thanks so much.